Flight Defense
This
Incorporated.
meeting is being recorded.
And we are here today once again on this fabulous fourth Wednesday of the month of October with Josephine Mueller and Daniel Summers of the Social Security Administration. And today we are going to talk about SSI. So without further ado, I'm going to let Josephine start it off.
Thank you so much for inviting us, Ms. Cassandra. We are excited to be here with Top Flight and with everyone who is viewing us live on Facebook. We are so excited to be able to share information with you here. And as Ms. Cassandra mentioned, my name is Josephine Mueller. I'm a public affairs specialist with the Social Security Administration. And part of my job is sharing information regarding Social Security's benefits and programs. But I'm not here alone. I'm here with my dear colleague, Mr. Daniel Summer, who is also a public affairs specialist that is going to be sharing information with you today as well. And he's a guru in everything about SSA. And I'm going to go ahead and pass the ball over to him so he can share a little bit about who he is. Daniel?
Thank you, Josephine. SSI is close to my heart because I became the SSI guy in my office a long time ago. Started out with 4 people who were doing SSI when I began, and they were showing me the ropes, grooming me for the SSI unit. And guess what? A few years later, there were 3 SSI people, then 2, and I was the only one. So SSI Central was my desk. So I'm glad to be talking about a subject that I'm very familiar with and really loved processing. It confuses a lot of people, but don't worry. We're here to help alleviate that confusion.
Yes, absolutely. Before we get into SSI, we are going to provide disclosure and a few updates. Now, participation in this presentation does not constitute an endorsement by the Social Security Administration or its employees of the organizations and information and products not provided by the Social Security Administration. Now, moving right along, we do have some updates for you. And as you can see, this is Daniel and I. We are the public affairs specialists that are going to be providing you with this wonderful presentation today, and we do have some updates. Now, the most recent update, hot off the press this week, is the cost of living adjustment information for 2023. Social Security and Supplemental Security income benefits, SSI benefits for approximately 70 million Americans will increase 8.7% in 2023. So the benefits will increase 8.7% in 2023. So we wanted to share that great news with you all today. Also, some updates regarding our services. As of April 7th, our offices added more in-person appointments and are again offering in-person service for people without an appointment. So your local office is seeing individuals as walk-ins. So if you are unable to do your business online or by phone, you can most certainly visit your local Social Security field office. However, we do encourage you to visit us online to conduct your business first. You can visit us at socialsecurity.gov. This is our main page. And if you go there, you can create a My Social Security account and complete many of the transactions you would do online or over the phone or in person with us. You can do them in the comfort of your own home online if you have a My Social Security account. So we encourage you to create an account if you don't already have one. So SSA.gov is the first place you want to go. However, we understand that sometimes people are unable to conduct their business online. So you can definitely call us at 1-800 number, which is 1-800-772-1213. Many of the transactions can also be completed via phone. We can schedule you an appointment right over the phone. We can help with some of your transactions right over the phone. If you're unable to do business with us online or over the phone, once again, we are seeing individuals as walk-ins, so you can visit your local Social Security field office. Now, you may be wondering, well, what is my local Social Security field office? I may not be sure of the address. Well, if you go to www.ssa.gov/locator, this page will show up for you. And you can enter in your zip code, click locate, and your local office information will show up for you on the screen. So that is how you can access your local office information. Also, if you call us, you can always ask for that information over the phone on our 1-800 number, which is 800-772-1213. I also want to highlight our most asked questions page, which is our frequently asked questions. They're called FAQs. If you go to our FAQs, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of the questions that you may have. Someone else may have had those too, and they will all be in one spot for you on our page, ssa.gov, under FAQs. Now, another great resource that we like to share with everyone are the publications that we offer. We offer free publications. If you go to our webpage, ssa.gov, you can click on the publications tab, and you're going to see that all the information as far as pamphlets, it's like a little mini SSA library. Information regarding programs and services, SSA programs and services is located here. You can listen to those publications via audio or read them PDF, and also see them in other languages. Another resource that we like to share are the forms that we provide. All of these resources are free. So I wanted to let everybody know here that our resources are free. If you go somewhere and they're charging for SSA information, that is not us. Know that we do not charge for these great, wonderful resources. They all are free. So when you go to our webpage, our resources are free. If you go somewhere and they say there's a cost associated with something, know that that is not us. So these right here are the forms that we offer on our webpage, and you can print out any of these forms, complete them, and mail them into your local office. These forms are all free. Now, of course, we are with you throughout life's journey, and we have lots of programs and services, but today we're going to specifically focus on SSI, Supplemental Security Income. And my colleague, Mr. Daniel Summer, as he mentioned earlier, he is an SSI guru, an SSI expert, and I am going to emphasize that because he knows all things SSI, Supplemental Security Income. And you may be wondering, okay, well, what is SSI? So he's going to share with you what SSI is and how you can, how you become eligible for SSI, the requirements, and he's going to share with you how Social Security is with you if the unexpected were to happen. I'm going to pass it right over to you, Mr. Summer.
Thank you, Josephine. You know, SSI, when people say that, sometimes people say, I'm getting SSI, and they mean retirement. Some people say, I'm getting SSI, and they mean disability. And, you know, it's very confusing to people because we have not one, but two programs for individuals who find themselves disabled. One is disability, the other is SSI. To add to that little complication, guess what? Not everyone who's going to receive SSI is disabled. They might just be of retirement age. So you can see how that could mix people up just a little bit. But I'm going to tell you first and foremost that supplemental security income is different than disability. It is different than retirement. And here's what it's for. If an individual has an illness, injury, condition, or combination of conditions, doesn't matter if it's physical, emotional, psychological, medical, or some combination that prevents them from being able to work substantially, then we can consider them disabled. Now, I know many people will say, well, that's what disability is for. But let's stop and think for a moment. You have to pay into disability, FICA taxes, and you have to have recent work. So what do we do for the homemakers in this world who've become disabled suddenly because of an illness, or people who are disabled as children? Well, here is the program for you. If they're low income and have few resources, that's one of the criteria in addition to that disabling condition. Now, we have some groups of people who don't even have to be disabled to get SSI. Who are they? Well, they're people with low income and few resources, but they're age 65 or older. This supplements any income they have, or in some instances, it's the only income people have if they're not eligible for retirement or disability. So you can see that SSI is a program designed to help people who are low income, whether they're disabled and low income, whether they're children, whether they're people who haven't worked a lot because for any myriad of reasons, or because they're 65 and older and need a little assistance, even if they're getting a retirement or pension amount or some benefit or payment, they might need some help in supplementing their income. And that's what Social Security is. We are there for you, even in times of economic distress. Now, I talked to you just a little bit about the definition of disability, and here it is. Those individuals who are not 65 but want to get SSI must have a medical condition. Again, it can be one of a number of things. It can be medical, emotional, psychological, what have you. It must be expected to last a year or result in death and prevent them from doing substantial gainful work activity, a work that they did in the past, or adjusting to other work for which they could earn. So just remember, SSI is to supplement a low-income individual. Some people who are getting SSI are working. So here's what we look at. We look at your income. So if you're getting wages, it doesn't necessarily mean you can't get SSI. But if your wages are high or your spouse is earning tons of money, it could mean that you won't get SSI either as much, or you may be ineligible if your income is exceeding our tolerances. Now, some people have pensions, some people scratch off the winning lottery tickets, some people get help, some people live and they pay rent or mortgage, others do not. We look at all of your living circumstances, resources, real estate, property that you might own that you don't live on, because remember, this is assistance. So we have to say, who's needy? You can't just say, I'm going to wait and stack up all this money and get SSI, because you must have limited resources. And where you live matters. I had someone who once was going to move from Indiana to Puerto Rico, but guess what? They could not get their SSI in Puerto Rico. Their decision, they decided Florida was better. They could get SSI in Florida. Onward. So understand, let's talk about what we look at when we're talking about income. Because imagine if you get zero income, you may be entitled to a high amount of SSI. But what if you have some wages? Well, you may get a little less, not worse. You may have VA benefits or unemployment, interest, pensions, cash. We'll consider these things because they can affect how much your SSI benefit is. We have a federal benefit rate amount. That's the maximum for SSI as assistance. And you may be entitled, depending on your living circumstances and your income and resources, to the highest amount or anything all the way down to zero. It can fluctuate from month to month depending upon what your income and resources are. Onward. So now, income is one of the first things we look at, but I used that word resources, so let me clarify. Well, we count some resources and we don't count others. For instance, you live in a big mansion. Well, that's okay. Even though this is a program for low income individuals, you got to have somewhere to live. And so it's excluded. So sometimes people say, well, I've got a nice car, so they're not going to let me get SSI. Well, even if you have a brand new Bentley Rolls Royce like Josephine or Cassandra, guess what happens? We completely exclude that. So please, the only way to know is that you talk to Social Security. Other things you can see here may be included. A second car we might look at and say, well, let's look at the value of that. A life insurance policy, but there are some that are excluded. Burial plots, some resources are excluded, and you can have some resources. For instance, if you are an individual, you can have up to $2,000 in the bank. Won't matter. As a couple, $3,000. But remember, if you exceed those, you may not be entitled to SSI for the months until you've spent some of it. Onward. So you can see a benefit can go up and down, but a living arrangement is the way in which you live. For instance, some people live in other people's households and they don't pay a rent. Well, that might matter to how much you get, because there may be a reduction for people who don't have a shelter cost, like a mortgage or rental amount, or if they're renting a room. Sometimes people are involved in, say, a hospitalization that they're going to be there for a long time, or they go to jail. And guess what? That's a different living arrangement, which will either cut down what you get, for instance, in the hospital to $30, or eliminate it completely if you're in jail. So stay out of jail, and we want to keep your SSI benefit going. In someone else's home, in your own home, all seems confusing, but the easiest way to know that you're getting the right amount and to avoid overpayments is just make sure you communicate with us. Because if you tell us when things change, if you get married, have a baby, you're reporting those, and they are actually your responsibilities. You have the responsibility, if you're receiving SSI, to tell us within 10 days about those things. If you get married, if you move, if you have a baby, if you start working, if you stop working, these are things that can affect the amount of SSI that you receive. And we absolutely want to make sure that we don't pay you too little or too much. So these are the things that we need to know about. Change of address, changes of living arrangements. You can see there are lots of them. If you go to jail, if you're admitted into a hospital or institution for a long period of time, if you get an unsatisfied felony warrant and you're running from the police, we're not going to tell that where you are. However, you have to tell us that you have a felony and there's an arrest warrant out for you. We'd stop your benefits so you can't get money for gas to get away, but at least you'd be in the right with the federal government. Onward. You can see that SSI has rules that could easily sound complicated and a lot of involvement, but just remember, you can do a lot of things and find a lot of information online at our website. Some people can complete their original applications online, but there are some restrictions. If they're between 18 and 65, haven't been married, they're a U.S. citizen, have not applied for or received SSI before, and if they're applying for disability at the same time. These are things that matter. Now, the portion of your information that's going to be medical is going to be online. It gives you an opportunity to go in and out of the application. But remember, some of our SSI applicants are under the age of 18. And so there is a way for people to begin those. And you want to know that you can schedule an appointment with us and we will take the claim for you. You can call us at the 800 number, 800-772-1213, and you can begin this process and shorten your interview time on the phone or in person by completing the child disability report. It asks for the medical things, what doctors that have been seen, or medical professionals, or what schools the child has attended, what are the limitations or any diagnoses. Trust me, you can cut things from being a long interview to a short one and more complete because you have more time to think about and add things. We're always here with you to assist you in completing that. So then you file the application. What happens next? Simple. We send this to the Disability Determination Services. Those are the medical professionals with the stethoscopes around their neck that will, with your permission, gather the records from the doctors, hospitals, etc. that you've listed. They'll look at the medications and all that. They'll gather those records because we know that they charge you at doctors' offices for those, but we pay for them. So we gather them and they are reviewed. Ultimately, Social Security comes up with a decision, this person is disabled by our standard or they are not. If you're found to be disabled, great. Then Social Security says, this is your medical condition that makes you entitled. You're halfway there, except the non-medical stuff. What if you got rich in the interim and you won the lottery? Well, you know what? That income or resource would be a non-medical reason why you couldn't get SSI. But if you lose it all, guess what? You could be eligible once again. So never fear, we'll figure it out. Once we've made the decision about your information, we give you the determination. And if you're approved, we normally do a follow-up interview to see what's changed in those months since. And if all is well, you're medically eligible and non-medically eligible through those financial factors that we talked about, income and resources, we process the claim and get your payments to you. Onward. So now That, in a nutshell, is how SSI works. However, what happens to those people who aren't approved? Well, it's not the end of the process. You have the right to appeal the decision within 60 days on the date of the decision notice. That's right. It's not the end of the process. We'll ask a few more questions and forward that information once again to the Disability Determination Service. However, a different medical professional will review it. So it's not the same person looking at it. Sometimes the decision is turned around and we say, oh, this should have been an approval. Other times we look at it and say, well, they applied a few months ago, but they've deteriorated since then. And now they're eligible. Other times still, there's a new condition, or they ultimately say, I still don't think this person's disabled based on the information that we have. And guess what? You still have another opportunity to appeal it. Because if you appeal it a second time, it no longer goes to the Disability Determination Service. You then have the opportunity to have a hearing before an administrative law judge. You can go in person, and ultimately the judge will make the decision. So you can present information and evidence. Some people like to have a lawyer at that point, but Social Security has no opinion on that. I see cases won and lost, people representing themselves and not representing themselves. It's an option that you have, and Social Security supports you. Onward. So there you have it. I'm going to turn this over now to Josephine because she's going to tell you just a bit about our website. Now you know the SSI process in a nutshell. Josie?
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Summer. That was great information regarding SSI. It's so important for us all to know that if you are an individual or know an individual who has limited income and resources, you may qualify for SSI. SSI may be a benefit that you may be eligible for, so we want you to and encourage you to apply. If you've watched this presentation and you've seen the requirements and you feel that maybe you may be eligible or somebody you know, please share this information because it's so important to start the process right away. Now, the maximum amount for an individual to receive SSI, the maximum SSI payment amount for this year, 2022, for an individual is $841 a month. Next year, in 2023, the amount has increased. It's $914 a month for next year, 2023. That's the maximum amount for SSI for next year for an individual. Now, for a couple this year in 2022, the maximum amount is $1,261 per month for a couple, and for a couple next year in 2023, it's $1,371 per month. That's for a couple. So just wanted to share those figures, those numbers here with everyone because the benefits have increased and they will be higher next year in 2023. Now, this right here is our main page. If you go to ssa.gov, you're going to see that this is what's going to show up. And you want to make sure when you look for us online that you type in .gov behind our name. If there's a .com or a .something else, that is not us. So please, when you visit us, make sure that the .gov is behind our name. Now, I want to point out the My Social Security account. That's at your bottom left here of the screen. You'll see where it says My Social Security. The reason why I want to highlight that is because if you create a My Social Security account, that means you're going to be able to conduct a lot of your business online. Many of the transactions that are done either in office or via phone, you'll be able to do them in the comfort of your own home if you have a My Social Security account. So once you click there, you're going to see this screen, and then you're going to be able to create an account. You're going to want to create an account if you have not already done so. Once you click create an account, you're going to be able to go in and answer some verifying questions. You're going to need to enter in your email, your cell phone number, and verify your information. Once you do that, you'll have the opportunity to create a username and a password. Now, you want to make sure that you keep this information in a very safe place. You'll have access to it always as long as you have your username and password. And your cell phone, you want to make sure you have your the cell phone number that you put in there is the one that you want to get the code your code to, because the codes will change every time you log in. So if you put in your cell phone number to receive the text message as a code, you'll be able to log in each and every time with the code that it sends to that cell phone number. So the cell phone number and your email is very important with this sign up process. So just wanted to make sure I share that with you. And the things that you can do once you have a My Social Security account are that you can request proof of what you receive every month from Social Security. You can get a letter right online on your My Social Security account. You can print that out saying you receive benefits and how much you receive every month, or you can get a letter saying that you do not receive benefits. You can set up change direct deposit. You can estimate your benefits. So if you're someone who is not close to retirement age yet and you want to see estimates of what your benefits are in the future, you can do that with your My Social Security account. And you're also going to be able to request a replacement Social Security card. And so this is a very popular one. So if you need a replacement Social Security card, you could do it right online in the comfort of your own home, as long as you have a My Social Security account. And if you have a My Social Security account, that means no one else can create an account for you. So you're also protecting yourself from any fraud or scams. Now, you will see your My Social Security statement, your statement on your My Social Security account. So you're going to see estimates. This is just a screen showing you of a hypothetical situation, an individual, an example of what they'd receive at full retirement age 70, what their children would receive if their children were to become survivors, or what the spouse would receive if their spouse were to become a survivor. These are the kind of things you're going to see once you go into your My Social Security account. Now, we only mail statements to people age 60 and over who are not getting benefits and do not have My Social Security accounts. So for individuals that want to see their statements and would like to look at their information periodically, and it's a good idea to do so, you're going to want to create a My Social Security account to see this information, because as mentioned, the statements only go out to people age 60 and over who are not receiving benefits and don't have a My Social Security account. These statements used to go out pretty frequently. However, now we have access to these statements at any time online with our My Social Security account. Now, in our account, we can see our statements. We'll also be able to see fact sheets that are specific to our age group. So if you are between the ages of 18 to 48, there's going to be fact sheets that are going to specifically give you information about what you should prepare for during this age bracket, and so on. So if you're 49 and 60, it'll give you additional information, 61 to 69, even more information. And at age 70 plus, it'll give you information for individuals in that age bracket. So lots of great information that's very, very catered to you. If you are Medicare age, if you're approaching 65 or 65, you're going to see information about Medicare in your My Social Security account. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that the My Social Security account caters to you. It's very personal to you because it is all about you. So your My Social Security account is going to show you your information. It's going to show you your earnings record, your estimates, information about you. So if you don't already have an account, we encourage you to create one as soon as possible so that you have some control over your Social Security information. Now, you can also request that replacement Social Security card, as I mentioned earlier. And this right here is a screenshot of what it looks like in your account and where you would go if you wanted to request a replacement card. So once you're in your account, in your left side, you're going to see a section that says request a replacement card. You can click there, follow the prompts, and complete your application in the comfort of your own home, right on your My Social Security account, and you'll get the card in the mail in about 5 to 10 business days. So very, very quick process. If you have a My Social Security account, it's a quick process to request that replacement card online in the comfort of your own home. Now, you can apply for benefits online. If you go to www.socialsecurity.gov, you can apply for retirement benefits, Medicare benefits. So these benefits, these applications for benefits are available online. And you can also call us at 1-800-772-1213. So if for whatever reason if you're not able to complete the application online, or if you're experiencing challenges, or if you feel more comfortable speaking to someone, you can always give us a call at 1-800-772-1213, and we can take an application from you right over the phone. We'll schedule you an appointment first, and then we'll take the application from you right over the phone. Now, anytime that we have the opportunity to share information with the public, with the community, we like to share, and it's important for us to share, that there are individuals out there that are calling saying that they're Social Security representatives, and they are not. They are scammers. They're aggressive. They're threatening people. They're saying that they are going to contact local law enforcement on you, and they're going to send them to your house or suspend your Social Security number. That is not us. We would never do that. And if you get a call like that, just hang up and report the call online at oig.ssa.gov, or report it by phone at 1-800-269-0271. And even we get calls from individuals saying that they're Social Security representatives, and they're not. I know my colleague, Mr. Summer, and we get these calls on our phone. They leave us messages. We've even answered them, and they threaten us. And we know that these are fraudulent calls, so we just hang up. Or, we can report that at oig.ssa.gov. There's a form where you can document those numbers that are calling you, and they're calling you and saying they're Social Security representatives, and they are not. We would never call you, be aggressive with you, or demand immediate payment for you to give us information. We just don't do that. And if you get a call like that, hang up. Don't give them your personal information. The only reason we would call you is if you have current business with us. So if you recently applied for benefits, or if you called us and wanted us to call you back, then we'll give you a call. But when we do call you and you are truly speaking to a Social Security representative, we will never be aggressive, and we will never threaten you. So if you get a call like that the person's aggressive on the other line and threatening you on the other line, that's a red flag. That is not us. Just hang up. Now, we have lots of information on our webpage, socialsecurity.gov, which is the page that we showed you today throughout the presentation, but you can also follow us on social media. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So if you would like to keep yourself updated with Social Security updates and learn more about Social Security's benefits and programs, you can most certainly follow us on our social media pages, as well as find us at socialsecurity.gov. Thank you so much for allowing us this opportunity to share information, Ms. Cassandra, and I'm going to go ahead and pass it back over to you. And you are on mute, Ms. Cassandra.
All right, here we go. Thank you so much, Josephine and Daniel. And I need to make a correction. When I introduced you, I said we're here on the fourth Wednesday. That's because that's when you normally come in, is on the fourth Wednesday, which means next week is the fourth Wednesday, and you all will be talking about what? Accounts. Yes, online accounts. So this week, the reason we came in, because we missed it last week. So we're just making up and making sure that our viewers are getting all of the information that's needed to be successful in dealing and understanding Social Security. So let me look and see. I don't see any questions in the chat on Facebook or here on our Zoom call. But since this is being recorded, what I'm going to do is upload it to our YouTube channel. And as you can see, we have the same thing. We have YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So this session will be uploaded to each one of those social media pages. And so all I can say, I'm going to come off of Facebook because I do have a question. Oh, I forgot to tell everybody bye. Am I still on? Yep, I'm still on with Facebook.
We can hear you. We can hear you, Cassandra.
Okay, so I'm still on with Facebook. So thank you everyone on Facebook for chiming in, watching. If you have any questions, like about to call you Miss Baker again, that name just stays in my head, Josephine Baker. But any questions you have for Miss Mueller or Mr. Summers, like they said, you can go in online and it won't be directed to them, but you can go to their website and pose any questions that you may have about Social Security income. So now I can say, let's say goodbye to the good people on Facebook. Bye, everyone on
Thank you,
Facebook.
everyone.
We love you.
Yes. Take care. Stay safe and stay well.
Okay, so now I'm off of Facebook and I am getting ready to stop the recording.